Okay, we did a quiz review where we reworked problems from 3-1, 3-2, 3-3, and 3-4 quizzes. And I thought I'd quickly go through and show how those could have been worked out so you can know how you did on that assignment before I get it back to you, since I've been gone quite a bit. So we'll start with the 3-1 quiz that you did. 5 questions on each one of these. Different ways of doing each one. I will work it out one way each time. If you worked it out differently and arrived at the same correct answer, that's fine. So number 1, 60% of 125. Real quick way of doing that is 60% is a decimal times 125. And so here we go, 0.6 times 125. And I get 75. If you used a proportion, you should have gotten the exact same answer. Question 2, in A through D, choose whether the fraction and decimal are equivalent. So if one's a fraction and one's a percent, you can get them both to be the same format. Or if you recognize one of them, you can change things up a little bit other than that. But on A, 40% is 40 out of 100. But this says 40 out of 1,000, so that one's a no. This next one, 6 out of 5, if I just pull out my calculator and do 6 divided by 5, I get 1.2. 6 divided by 5 is 1.2, which is 120% as a decimal, so that's a yes. 50 over 33. It doesn't appear as though this is going to equal, but if I divide 50 by 33, I get 1.51 something or other. That is not going to be the same. And then last one, 1/8. I happen to recognize 1/8 and 12.5%, but if you don't, it's okay. Just take 1 divided by 8, and you'll get 0.125. 0.125. And that is the decimal form of 12.5%, so that's a yes. Question 3. It says Austin got a 92%. Liz got 47 out of 50. So we have one option is to take Liz's score of 47 out of 50 and figure out what percent that is. And that's a very good option because I can just double this to get 100. So Liz's score, this is Liz, Liz's score is just double 47, and that is a 94%. So Liz got a 94%, Austin got a 92%, so Liz scored. Liz scored higher by 2. An alternative would have been to take Austin's percent and make it out of 50 and see how many points he scored. That happened to be 46. Question 4, a lot of people struggled with it, but really it tells me an equation I could write right here. What percent of the participants are the females? Well, the issue is we know how many females. We don't directly know how many participants there are. We need to add the male and the females together. And if I do that, I can write my equation. Percent times the total of 99 and 121 is 220. Equals the female 121. And if you divide by 220, divide by 220. And again, you could have used a proportion. 121 divided by 220. And I get 0.55, which is 55% are female. Number 5, the question right here tells me the equation to write. I'll use a proportion on this one, but it's not a big deal. What percent of the employees walk to work? Well, we know how many walk, 7. Of goes down here in the denominator. The employees is the total of all of these. So if you add all of these up, you get 1,400. And I only know that off the top of my head because I graded a bunch of people as they were having me pre-grade them. And then that's some percent over 100. And cross multiply and divide, you should get a percent of 0.5%, less than 1%. So let's move on to 3-2. On quiz 3-2, this is the percent proportion is what this lesson was about. So I'm going to use a proportion definitely on each one of these. Number one, which proportion can be used? Well, the percent always goes over 100. So if I scan through these, this puts the 65% over 90. That's not right. 65 over X, that's not right. 65 over 100, I like that one. So there we go. 65 over 100 is the percent over 100. And then the of is the 90. So it's always the of. What you're finding the percent of goes in the denominator. I probably would have put X over 90 on the left and 65 over 100 on the right, but it doesn't really matter. Number two, during bowling practice, Marley rolled 14 strikes out of 70. So I'm going to write 14 out of 70. What percent? Well, 14 out of 70 is some percent out of 100. And then you'll cross multiply and divide. I'm trying to make this a pretty quick video, so I'll just do that cross multiplying and dividing. 14 times 100 divided by 70, and I get 20. 20% are strikes. Number three, when you find 420% of 85, what are you looking for? Well, put the percent over 100. And what you're finding the percent of goes here. So this part up here, and I just said it, it's the part. It's the part of the whole 85. So this is part. Part over whole, percent over 100. Number four, Annette is surveying people in the city. She found that 180 people, or 37.5% of those she surveyed, do not want a new mall. And then they want to know how many people did in that survey. The key thing is that 180 people and the 37.5% represent the same people. So that it goes in the same position in my proportion. 180 out of the people surveyed, don't know how many that is 37.5% out of 100. 180 out of something is 37.5 out of 100. And again, I'm going to cross multiply and divide. I would like you all to show your work, but I'm trying to make these videos go a little more quickly. So 180 times 100 divided by 37.5. And I get 480. So she surveyed 480 people. 180 of those said they do not want a new mall. Number five. This one's different ways you can do it. The fastest way to do this question on number five is to just see which one saves you the most amount of money. Saving you the most money is the better deal. So if Hideki is buying 2 sweaters for 18 bucks a piece, normally that'd be $36. However, he can use one of the coupons. He could buy the first one for 18 and then get 40% off that second one. So if we find 40% of 18, I can do that as 0.40 times 18. And if I type that in, 0.40 times 18, and it's $7.20. But that's not what he gets the sweater for. That's how much off. So if he goes with coupon 1, they're going to take $7.20 off. However, if he goes with coupon 2, they take 25% off the entire $36 purchase. So if I want to find 25% of 36, that's 0.25. times 36. And again, I could be using a proportion on these. It just seems to be set up to use the equation. And this is $9 off. So just logically, the better deal is coupon 2. If I had to explain, well, it's $9 off instead of $7.20. You get $1.80 more off the price. Now, since we know how much was taken off and we know that this is the regular price, you could go an extra step and actually figure out how much each one's going to cost. But I don't know that that's necessary to be able to figure out which one's the better deal. The one that saves you the most money is the better deal. So let's move on to quiz 3.3. Quiz 3.3. It says which equation is equivalent to 60% of 25? Well, we can convert this to a decimal times 25, and that's this one right here. We can also use a proportion. The percent over 100 is something out of 25, and that's this one right here. However, there's one more that also works. If you solve each one of these, you'll get an answer for x. And then what you could do is go through and solve the others and see which ones give you the same answer. But if you look at your choices here, the 25 should be in the denominator because it's what you're finding the percent of, and this is in the wrong place. This has 1.6. There is no 160%, so that doesn't make sense. Here this has 6. That's the decimal, not moved the right number of places. So this one actually works. If you look at it, 6/10 is 60 hundredths with a 0 taken away from each one. So it's really the same thing. So those are 3 correct ways of doing that. Number 2, Tyson multiplies 75 by 1.15. Which number might Tyson be trying to find? Well, 1.15 is the decimal for 115%. So he could have been finding 115% of that 75. And that one's right there. Number 3, deli owner, 90 sandwiches. Of those 90 sandwiches, of the 90, 36 are pastrami. So the percent of the 90 is the 36. And then divide by 90. And you take 36 divided by 90. And you get 0.4, which is 40% pastrami. Number 4, Sierra left $4.50 as a tip. This referring to the 450 was 18%. So 18% of the bill was the tip, which was the 450. So we have 0.18 times some bill equals the 450 tip. And then if you divide by 0.18, 4.50 divided by 0.18, and I get 25. So the bill was $25. Number 5. Number 5, a lot of people had trouble with this problem. It's probably not the most realistic problem in the world, but it just have to be careful with things. It says, can Jeremy just find the cost of the sneakers by adding? So it's wanting you to determine is, if I do 25% off of 60, is that the same as doing 15% off of 60 and then taking 10% off from that cost? And we'll find out that it does not work to do that. If you take 25% of 60, so 25% of 60, you can take 0.25 times 60, and you'll get $15. But that $15 is how much off? So this first one is taking $15 off. So the cost of the sneakers would be 60 minus that 15. It'd be a $45 purchase. If we did it the other way, we have to break it down into pieces. I have to find 15% of 60, 0.15 times 60. And if I do that, 0.15 times 60, I get $9. But that's off. So I have to take $9 off of 60, leaving me with 51. And now I have to subtract 10% from that. So I have to find 10% of 51, which is $5.10. But again, that's how much off. So now I have to take $51 and take away $5.10. So 51 minus $5.10, and I get $45.90. Since these are not the same, then you can't do it either way. So you can't put the 25 or the 15 and the 10 together the way they've set it. So one last quiz to go through here. Quiz 3-4. This is one I just did the homework stuff for. So number 1, percent error. The formula goes change over original is percent over 100. So to get the percent, I want to find the change and put it over the original. So to find the change, I'm going to subtract these two numbers and then compare it to the 376. And that's A right here, where they subtracted the two numbers and put it over the original, the first number. And then when you do that arithmetic, the way they have it written, you'd have to move the decimal to get the percent. Number 2, value increased from 39 to 65. So I have to subtract to see how much it changed. So when I do this subtraction, I get 26. So the increase was 26, but then I have to compare that 26 to what it started out originally. So the percent is going to be of the $39 original amount. And it equals that change that we just calculated. So 26 divided by 39. And I just divided both sides by 39, trying to make these go quick. I get 0.6 repeating, or 66 point, what is that, hundredths, so 7%. I'm not going to quibble with rounding there. And that's an increase because it went up. Number 3, a zookeeper predicted that the weight of a newborn lion would be 2.8 pounds. When the zoo's lion gave birth, the newborn weighed 3.5. So let's see how far off the prediction was. 3.5 minus 2.8. And the zookeeper was off by 0.7. And I need to compare how far off that is to what it should have been. And what he should have predicted is the actual 3.5. So the percent error times what it should have been equals the error of 0.7. And divide by 3.5. I'll show my work this time. And when you do that division, you get 0.7 divided by 3.5. Get 0.2. Remember, I have to move it 2 places over. So that's a 20% error. Key thing is for error, compare to what it should have been, not what the prediction or the measurement was. Number 4, a bodybuilder consumed 4,400 calories yesterday. Today, he consumed 3,600. What is the percent decrease? So let's find out how much the decrease was by subtracting. And the decrease is 800. And then I need to compare that to what was it before it decreased. What was it yesterday? So it's 800, I'll use a proportion this time, to 4,400. That's what it was yesterday. 4,400 equals percent over 100. And if you do that arithmetic, you should get roughly 18%. And it's a decrease. Question number 5. Each one of these is a year-to-year number of students participating in a debate club. And it's asked between which 2 years did the club see the greatest growth. So I'm just going to go year to year. So 1 to 2, it went from 14 to 19. So it went up 5. So this is a plus 5. And then I compare that 5 to what it started out. So 5 compared to 14 is some percent out of 100. And then I just do the next one. So that's from 1 to 2. That's from 1 to 2. I'll do the arithmetic here in a second. The next one, this increase is 6. This is from year 2 to year 3. It went up 6, but I have to compare that 6 to the 19 because that's what went up 6. So 6 to 19 is some percent out of 100. And lastly, from year 3 to 4, it went up 8. This is the biggest increase. However, it's compared to 25. So 8 compared to 25 is some percent out of 100. So real quick arithmetic on these. This one, you get the percent is roughly 36%. 6 out of 19 is roughly 32%. And this one is right at 32%. So between which 2 years was the greatest growth? Right there. It wasn't the biggest amount, but compared to what it was, the percent increase was the greatest. So those are the quiz review problems worked out for you. So hopefully you'll understand how you should have done those problems.